Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. All dignitaries on the podium. Uh, I think I'm going to a little bit divert from the current discussion and make few points. Just a small story. As a consultant, we love to give stories, right? Uh, about 10 years back, you would have not imagined an entrepreneur, a woman entrepreneur in a village or in a rural area going to a bank, getting a bank account open and getting a mortgage loan for a business that she wants to start and also run it effectively and sell those products. COVID changed a lot of things for us, especially the digital nature of doing the business. Today, you can actually have the entire credentialing done through an Aadhaar or a eKYC done through a banking system or account executive can actually help you get a loan on that. DBTs can be given digitally. And finally, you can have an ONDC kind of an infrastructure to provide for the marketplace where you can sell and buy stuff. So things have moved because India in the last 10 years or so has decided to go on an approach which is what we famously are known for, DPI, which is digital public infrastructure approach. I'm not talking about the product or a solution or a platform. I'm talking only about the approach because there are several projects in India which take an approach and methodology of a digital public infrastructure. They may or may not be called as a DPI or DPG because that needs a little bit of a validation and certification by the global entities. I'll leave that nuances separate. But India, predominantly in the last 10 years, has taken very conscious effort of going for programs, projects, or digitalization based on certain principles, which has actually helped us a lot. And we are known in the world for that, and we are extremely well respected in global south, countries like Morocco, Trinidad and Tobago, Cook Islands, which is close to New Zealand, and so on and so forth. They have all adopted India DPG stack. In fact, the latest is Sri Lanka, which has just taken on the RFP for the India ID, which is a master. They are implementing the ID program there, similar to Morocco, which has done some time back, and Philippines and Indonesia also is taking on. So India is 23. But are we happy with that? So the question is, no. I think Indians by nature and by behavior are what do you call? I will say a different word: anxious. We have to know the future. We want to actually experience the future. While we have the infrastructure, we may or may not actually cater to that. But how do we do that? And we have been always great in terms of doing what we call as jugaad and a lot of collaboration with the legacy systems, the modern technologies. The next wave, which is, as I am going to narrate few stories, is you going to one of the largest public hospitals, and instead of a person who's at the OPD counter, you actually talk to a system, you tell your symptoms, and the system actually allocates you to the right doctor. Possible? Happening today. So that's what the GenAI is doing. There are you call up a call center, you actually talk to a call center and say that I need so and so input, I want so and so stuff, effort or a problem, I need to solve that, I need to make a complaint and everything. The entire process is much more reduced and in your own conversational language, which was not possible yesterday because yesterday somebody would call, they'll ask you for your authenticity, you asked to do something, or something like this. Today that's not happening. And this is something which is going to happen in something which is the most important critical infrastructure or critical forces kind of thing. So not just the normal civil, it's happening in the other areas, which is very important. Happening today. The state where I'm in, which is very progressive in various aspects, is also implementing something which is for their Mariyoshna program, where the multilingual aspect, the citizens of any language can actually talk to the system and actually get their answers done. So things have actually started moving to the next, and I'm relating that to the topic of the day, which is intelligent governance. What is the we have done a detailed based approach which made it as a smart governance or a good governance. But now to move to intelligent, it needs to be intuitive. It needs to have something which is predictable. That's what the AI is bringing out to it. And governments have already started taking small steps. I'm not saying that anyone or everyone has taken a bold step to actually go very, very far away in the technology space. So that's the second step, and there is a lot of integrated, connected, and high compute based technology and the intelligent government work going on. Sorry, I got distracted with the 4 zeros coming here. My time is up, so I'll take another 1 minute. What two things is beyond this is required, and I keep on saying this, people who have heard me before, is one is experience. I think governments, Gujarat, as you have done, and sir, from a weighty standpoint, everyone have done a great job in building the best of the functional applications. We cover everything which is under the book because we are most compliant in terms of building the applications. But when we compare our own apps to an Amazon or to any other commercial application, the experience fades. The experience is most important. Yesterday I was in a jury for one of the awards, and we were looking at the number of chatbots released by cities and states, and looking at their usage after the first 15 days. It just fell off down the cliff because people lack experience. If I go to a phone pay and want to pay a bill, versus I go to a city to pay a bill, it's going to be very difficult. I want to stay to the phone pay or Google Pay. It's the experience that. So the most important is after you build a strong, stable, based on great principles, the architecture, experience is extremely important. We are citizens, and most Gen Alpha, my kids are Gen Alpha, so the Gen Alphas will not like something which will not be a great interface. This was and intuitive and all. That's one. Second is, I think cyber is not a plus one. It's not a one person. For example, I see RFPs and I see everything, solution architect, data integrators, everything. The last one line says that I want a testing engineer one resource, I need a cyber security expert one resource. That's not going to be possible for data because you're building systems where more people are touching and more other systems are open, more it's vulnerable to attack. So I think two principles, I'll leave it at that: experience and build cyber as part of the core functional architecture principle. It's not a plus one kind of a requirement for any of the architecture, because what happens is when a system integrator is on board, he has a full responsibility of securing that, whereas the RFPs is constructed such a fashion that don't actually allow a cyber security person to be there, and the architecture is not integrated with that. So there is always a conflict there, so people actually have that kind of confusion, conversation, or a configuration post factor. Yes, my time is up. So thank you so much for having me here. Thanks for him for calling me again and again. I'm here for the full day, so if anybody wants to have a question, I can have it. Thank you so much.